Dear ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for today's session. We are very honored as Germany being the partner country of this year's NextRise. So first of all, I would rather like to still give my panelists, each one of them, a minute to introduce themselves. Please be brief and offer some details about your background. I'll start with you, Dr. Zimmermann.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. I'm Jochen Zimmermann. I'm heading the division for startup policy and for the digital hubs in the German Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy. And well, we are responsible for the startup policy, for startup strategy in Germany, but also for ecosystem building, the topic we are here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Robert Herrmann. I am the COO of Germany Trade and Invest, which is the German government's economic development agency that helps internationalized German business, so going abroad, being active internationally, as well as the other way around. We help companies to come to Germany and settle and begin business in Germany. We're a government agency and we're happy to support.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Claus Karthe. I'm an entrepreneur, and I have the pleasure to represent the German Accelerator as managing partner in Asia, and I run a startup consulting company called Start2.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Tayla Sheldrick, and I'm one of the managing directors at Motion Lab Berlin. We are a hard tech and innovation hub, and as of last year, we're also one of the official hubs of the DE Hub initiative in the focus of deep tech. And we basically support technologies within deep tech to scale or go from lab to market in a more costly and efficient manner.
Thank you very much for the short introduction. I would like to start with the first question to Dr. Zimmermann. We have heard during the German ambassador's speech already that Germany's ecosystem is very efficient, very successful. So which steps does the German government undertake to foster the internationalization of the German startup ecosystem, and what makes it so successful?
Yeah, sure. Well, when we are talking about internationalization of the startup ecosystem, I think we are talking about, let's say, two dimensions, or better, two directions of internationalization. So the first direction would be like the more inbound internationalization, so startups and corporates coming from abroad and are interested in cooperating with startups in Germany or corporates in Germany. And the other direction is, of course, outbound, like the startups that are seeking for customers, investors abroad. So, and for all these two directions, we have, let's say, tailor-made programs and initiatives on all levels, let's say. So for example, when we are talking about the inbound internationalization, so when companies and startups are interested to come to Germany, I would recommend to call Robert Herrmann from Germany Trade and Invest, and they will bring you to the partners that you need. And these partners are, for example, you know, you already said we are a very diverse country with a lot of clusters, and we have an initiative called the D-Hub initiative with 25 startup hubs throughout Germany, and they would probably forward your inquiry to one of these hubs, or for example, to Motion Lab, or they would forward it to our regions, because they all have tailor-made programs, landing pads, and so on. And you know, the other direction, like outbound, we also, the Digital Hub initiative is also doing a lot with that. We have the German government too, and we have a program, it's this startup, the German Accelerator. Klaus Karthe will give you more insights on that. So you see, there is quite a big set of programs which work very well, and yeah, we would like to improve these programs also, and there is more to come.
Thank you very much. This brings me to my follow-up question to Dr. Herrmann regarding how does GTI support the partnership, and how does GTI support in bringing Korean or foreign startups into Germany?
Yeah, thank you very much. Some things has already been mentioned. So we have a bunch of programs. First of all, we help companies to understand what it means to be in Germany. And for Korean companies, I have to let you know, there are many companies from Korea already active in Germany. Yes, those might be the more established companies, medium-sized and large companies, but there are a bunch of companies from Korea that are already active. So what we do is usually we support companies from abroad to understand what it means to be in Germany. We explain the difficulties, the differences. We help you through, let's say, the jungle of being in Germany. It's another country, it's another nation, it's another language, it's another understanding of how business is working. We can bring you in touch with Korean companies that are already active in Germany to learn from them what they have been struggling with and how they could find a solution to be active in the field. Additionally to that, we bring you in touch with the partners, the clusters, innovation centers, and locations that might be of interest for you. So we have one of the clusters or hubs here. So there are many others. The ambassador mentioned already the different technologies. We have, according to each technology, a different city. It's not because we made it for, it's just because the regions are strong or have their strengths because of their economic development in the past decades. And we explain you in which location it's best to find which partner and whom to get in touch with. So we take you by hand and do not hesitate. Katharina Viklenko is here in Seoul, so we have someone on the ground that can speak with you in Korean. She speaks Korean. And explain you what it means to be in Germany. And so this is the very much most important point for you, Korean companies, if you think to come to Germany, that we can offer. We take you by hand, we explain you where to be active, and therefore we use also the different structures that are established. So the DE Hub structure that has been mentioned through the ambassador, Jochen Zimmermann is the coordinator for the hubs within the ministry. So there are 25 hubs that are focusing on different technologies and industry sectors. We can explain what these hubs are doing and where you find companies that are in a similar situation as you are, that might also be entrepreneurs that have questions that might be very much interested in cooperating with you. Besides meeting them over there are many more. And we would be happy to take you by hand and explain what it means to be in Germany.
Thank you very much. So we've heard about the different programs focused on inbound Korean companies, foreign companies coming to Germany. And I would like to follow up with Claus, Karthe and hear a perspective on how the German Accelerator is also bringing German startups to Korea and fostering connections between German and Korean startups.
Yeah, so German Accelerator has been active here for 5 years. We brought around 60 startups here to Korea by now, inclusive of the current cohorts. For us, it's always important that we connect startups with industry. So it's one of the key components. So most startups either want money, or they want a client, or maybe they want a research cooperation. But typically, startup wants a client, so the combination with industry is key. We do this through our mentors. So the startups here in Germany, the German startups we brought to Korea, they had their success stories, quite a lot of them in biotech, for instance, but also in the traditional fields of robotics and Industry 4.0 activities and also AI, right? So for us, we are steady. I think we have 2 cohorts per year, so it's a very steady program, and we're very happy that there is a steady and increasing interest of German startups in Korea itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now moving on to Tayla. You have very much hands-on experience as well in helping startups, linking them up. So how is Motion Lab Berlin supporting the transition, for example, from the lab to market for deep tech startups?
I mean, it's a hard journey. It's hardware in most cases, and that, excuse the pun, is hard. But in essence, what Motion Lab Berlin does is threefold. We have the infrastructure on one hand based in Berlin. We've got 2 locations with an up-and-coming third location, making us the biggest location of its kind in Europe come 2027, which we're very proud of. And this location is very much focused on 3D printers, CNC mills, everything that an engineer loves to work with to create those first prototypes. The second arm being then the knowledge that comes with it. Knowledge can be in the form of, hey, how do I set up my supply chain, or how do I set up my bill of materials so that I get forward? But then the third arm, and I would say this is the most important arm, is the network. And just as it takes a village to raise a child, it very much takes a village to raise a startup or bring that technology from lab to market. And this is where we are very proud to also be part of the DE Hub initiative, to be able to tap into a network that's not just our own, but all the networks within the different hubs across Germany. And then also to have opportunities that allow us to go international to various different markets, to tap into those, to learn from those markets, and then to create synergies and that essential matchmaking that is necessary for these startups to get the right partner at the right time. Be it a manufacturer, a supplier, an investor, a corporate, you name it, we can support them with that.
Thank you very much for your insights. The next point that I would like to focus on is to ask you, what kind of major trends are you seeing currently in Germany's ecosystem, and what kind of opportunities for closer cooperation do you see between German and Korean startups? And I would like to pose that question on each of my fellow panelists, starting with Dr. Zimmermann.
Well, first of all, I think the ambassador already mentioned AI. It's all about AI these days. So this is like, it's also in Germany. We have, of course, a lot of promising AI startups. Last year, by now we have at least 2 of the digital hubs that have a focus on AI. We have AI unicorns, so this is of course like the big thing. Also, the ambassador already mentioned what the federal government is doing now. Is there will be a lot of money in Germany, so there will be a lot of money that wants to be invested. So now is the time, actually, we raised the military expenses. We have a VC booster, venture capital booster, which was announced by the government. So there's a lot going on. There's also a lot going on the European level, and so I think there will be a lot of opportunities to seize. And so it's really worth having a closer look to what's going on, and therefore I all invite you to get to know us better at our booth, which is right next to this stage.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hermann. Where do you see opportunities for closer partnerships between German and Korean startups?
I would add to what has been mentioned 2 words. One word is sustainability, and the other word is digitalization. So we see digitalization in every field. Companies are transforming. Every company needs a digital solution for their data storage, for their IT security, for their automation challenges. So digitalization in every aspect that you can imagine is of relevance, and it's increasing with artificial intelligence, but digitalization is key. And there are challenges for the German companies. And sustainability, we are facing challenging times with regards to climate change. We have to think about what we should do today to have a future for tomorrow, a future that is attractive for the companies, for the businesses, and for us. So those two key words are the most relevant from my perspective.
Mr. Karthe, what is your take on that?
Yeah, so from my perspective, I think Korea has a lot of speed, and it has a lot of digital innovation, and I think it can bring that to Germany or to Europe. And I mean, all the buzzwords are said, smart manufacturing, etc. But I think another aspect of where Germany and Korea can cooperate more would be Korean founders becoming active in Germany, right? So we see a lot of startup creation. We have a lot of Korean students in universities. There's a lot of Korean understanding on the ground, actually, but those people, they tend to go back either to Korea or maybe go to the United States. But from my perspective, this would be so much better if Korean students would stay in Germany, maybe join a startup, and therefore build a natural bridge between Germany and Korea. And we even have visa programs for these kind of activities, and I think that would help a lot between the two nations.
I mean, what else is there still left to say after that? But I think I could just end off maybe with a word of encouragement. The German ecosystem, or Germany, has always been an engineering powerhouse, and it's been at the forefront of that and the technology they've been putting forward, but they've maybe been a bit shying away from adapting new innovations in the past. But we've realized a trend where everyone's becoming far more open to this, realizing we need to work across borders, we need to open ourselves up to these new technologies, to new ideas, and this is where I would urge you all here in South Korea, if you've got something, please do reach out to those German companies. They are willing to work with you, and they are willing to grow together with you.
Thank you for this very insightful and final remarks, I would say. Thank you to the final panelists for your encouragement and your insights. And with this, I would also like to invite all the participants and listeners today to visit the German startup booth later in the day, and we'll now give over to the MC. Thank you very much.